Hello everyone. So good evening. So today in our session we are going to start a new topic guys. So we are going to start our next chapter. So mathematical reasoning. So far we have finished our chapters like statistics, probability and all. So now we are jumping into our next chapter which is a mathematical reasoning here. So today this is our first session. So as it's a first session, we'll just have a introduction part like the theory part related to this, and then in our next session we'll just jump into the further topics, right? So if you guys have any queries in between, you can let me know, and you can even let me know if I'm going too fast and too slow, so that you can just mention in our chat box. So let's start our today's session. So we'll just start our today's session with a quick overview, like what are the topics that we are going to cover in our session, like in today's session, right? So first, as I mentioned, we are going to start with the introduction part. Like whenever we are starting any chapter, we should aware of the basic definition of it and everything, right? So first, in the introduction part, we are going to start with the definition of it and things related to that. And then we just continue with the statement. So when it comes to mathematical reasoning, we'll be having a lot of theory part first. So we should aware of the things related here. We should aware of the terms related to the chapter here and the definitions of each of the words and everything we should be familiar. Right, so that's why in and overall I mentioned our today's session will be a bit of a theory part. So that's how we'll be starting with the introduction part first, and it will be followed by the definition of this statement. So once we are sure we understood the definition of this statement, we'll just follow by the different types of statements which we have here. Right, so in our mathematical reasoning point in our session, we'll be having around two types of statements that we are going to discuss in our today's session. Right, after these types of statements, the next topic that we are going to cover is logical connectives. So when it comes to logical connectives, so as part of our mathematical reasoning, so this logical connectives topic will be very important, because in and overall our entire thing of this mathematical reasoning will be revolving around this logical connectives. So we have to be very sure, we have to be attentive while dealing with concept of this logical connectives. So we'll be having around some 5 logical connectives which we'll be frequently using in our entire chapter mathematical reasoning, like while dealing with the questions, while dealing with the statements and everything. So logical connectives here is very important. So we have to be very keen, we have to be very attentive while dealing with this concept of logical connectives. Right, so moving on to our next topic. So the next topic that we are going to cover is tautologies and contradictions. So basically this tautologies and contradictions is also we can derive using our connectives also. Right, so that's how we'll be learning these logical connectives ahead of our tautologies and contradictions. So basically these tautologies and contradiction, these both are opposite to each other. Right, so what are these? The typical definition and the representation and the meaning of these tautologies and contradictions. So each and everything in detail we are going to learn in our today's session of mathematical reasoning. And then the next topic that we are going to cover is algebra of statements. Right, so in and overall if we have a look here, so we are going to talk about the statements, things related to that, logical connectives and everything. So mostly it will be a bit theory part. So don't worry, we'll just quickly finish this theory part, and in our next session we'll just jump into our typical application part of it. Right, so these are the topic guys that we are going to cover. So let's just start our today's session with the introduction part here. So before getting start with this introduction, can you guys have any idea like what is this mathematical reasoning? So what do you guys think about it, like in your own words? Can anyone describe it? So I'll give you 1 minute so that you can give you You can give me what your opinions regarding this mathematical reasoning. What are your ideas in your point of view? What you guys are thinking? So can anyone let me know? So just have a quick thought regarding this topic. You can just give me whatever strikes in your mind. So we'll just see the basic definition here of our mathematical reasoning, like understanding what it is actually. So here basically this reasoning is nothing but it's a process of understanding. Right. So the basic idea here of this reasoning is nothing but it's a process of understanding and conveying in a particular language. Right. So the language can be anything. So in general, the definition here we are talking about. Right. But when it comes to our mathematics, so here in this topic, here the sentences are the linguistic unit which will be used to communicate. Right. So in general, what is the idea? In general definition here we are talking about the definition of this reasoning. So basically the reasoning is nothing but a simple process of understanding and conveying logically ideas, concepts, facts, etc. in a particular languages. Right, so it's understanding and conveying. And how we'll be conveying? So there should be a essay to convert that. So here sentences are the linguistic unit used to communicate in any language. So here sentences are the basic linguistic units which are used to communicate in any language. Right, so basically this is the definition in general, the meaning of this reasoning. Right, so as here we are talking about that sentences are the linguistic units here. So now let's see the different types of sentences that we guys are familiar with. Right, so these are a few types of sentences that we are familiar with. So the first one is assertive sentence, the next one is imperative sentence, the next one is exclamatory sentence, and then interrogative, like question mark thing and all, interrogative sentence. So these are the different types of sentences which we guys are familiar with here. Right, so these different sentences will actually be the linguistic units which used to communicate in any language. Right, so I hope you guys are familiar with these types of sentences, but let's not more focus, don't keep more focus in this concept. So as of now we should aware of the basic definition of it and few types of sentences here. So now let's see the statement, because when we are dealing with our mathematical reasoning here, the statement is a very important. So basically the statement, or we can call it as a proposition. Right, so we can say a statement or a proposition is an assertion. Basically this statement or a proposition is nothing but an assertive sentence. So just now in our previous slide we have seen the different types of sentences which are involved. So one of those sentence is nothing but our assertive sentence. Right, and the assertive sentence is nothing but a typical statement or a proposition. Right, so what is this actually? So the statement or a proposition in an assertion, right, it's a statement or proposition in our assertive sentence. And again here one more condition we are having, that is a statement or a proposition is an assertion that can be either proved true or false, but not both. So that is the sentence which can be either proved true or false, but not both. So that particular assertive sentence is a statement. Right, so when you have a assertive sentence which can be either proved true or false, but not both the cases. So that type of assertive sentences are called to be a statement or a proposition. Right, so if the statement is proven to be true, then it is called a valid statement. or if the statement is called, if the sentence is called to be an false, like if it is proved that it is false, then that is called to be an invalid statement. Right. So first thing here, what is the definition of statement? So if an assertive sentence which can be either true or false, then that particular sentence is called to be a statement. Right. So if a statement is proven to be true, then if it's a true statement, then it is a valid statement. And the other case, if it's a false, if it is proven to be false, then that is an invalid statement. So this is our basic definition of statement here and things related to that. So now let's move on to our terms which are involved here with respect to our statements. So the first term that we are going to have a look here is a open statement. Right, so let's see the definition. So an assertive sentence containing one or more variables is an open statement. So when the variables are replaced by some definite values. So basically if we are having an assertive sentence which contains one or more variables. Right, so if we have one or more variables in that assertive sentence, that is called to be an open statement. Right, so when the variable can be replaced by some definite values, but the major idea here is that sentence should contain one or more variables. So if it has one or more variables, then it is called to be an open statement here. Right, so this is one of the term which is related to the statement. So let's move on to the next one. So the next one we are having is a truth set. So can anyone have, did anyone have any idea regarding this truth set? If you guys have any idea, can you guys let me know? Just have a thought. So this truth set is also related to our statement only, which is again related to nearly to our open statement. If for suppose we are having an open statement here. So when we call any statement to be an open statement, if it has one or more variables. Right. So in that open statement, if then open statement becomes a valid statement. Right. So here we are having a open statement and that has been become to be a valid statement. So when you can say any open statement turns out to be a valid statement, when the given statement is true. Right, so if any given statement is true, we have seen in our previous slides that if any statement is proven to be true, that statement is called to be a valid statement. So the same thing will be applicable here for our truth set. So if we are having an open statement and this open statement becomes a valid statement. So when this open statement becomes valid statement, when this open statement has been proved to be true. So how can we prove that it is true? So in our open statement, we will be having the variables. So here we will be make use of some values to replace the variables which are present in the open statement. So by using those values, we can prove that the open statement is true, which will be turning out to be a valid statement. Which means here we are using some values which can make an open statement a true statement. Right. So in this variables which are present in my open statement, I am actually using some values which can make my open statement a true statement. Right. So those values, all values referred together are called to be the truth set of the open statement. right? So here all these values collectively referred. So here what we have done, in order to prove the open statement as a true statement, we have replaced the variables with some values in order to prove the statement is true. So those values which are used to prove the statement is true, so those values are collectively referred here to as the truth set of the given open statement. So the values here are considered to be the truth set of the open statement here, right? So in order to prove the open statement is to be true, we are using these values which are collectively referred to as a truth set here, right? So let's move on to our next one. So now the thing is truth values. So now as we have seen our truth set, so let's move on to the truth value here. So here there is a condition that truth value can be either truth or false. So don't be confused, like it's saying it's a truth value, which means it will always be a true. So it's not like that. So here the truth value, exactly what it refers here is, the truth value refers to the truth or falsity of a statement here. So basically the truth value, this actually refers to the truth or falsity. So it can be true or it can be a false. Basically the overall idea of this truth value here is to refer to the truth or falsity of a statement, right? So now if the result of any statement is to be true, then the truth value of a true statement is true, which is denoted by capital T. Similarly, if we are having a false statement, right? So there are two possibilities. One will be a true statement and the other will be false statement. Sorry. So if we are having a true statement, then what about the truth value? So the truth value of a true statement will be true only, which is denoted by capital T, right? So likewise for the false statement also there will be a truth value which is false, and it is denoted by capital F, right? So basically the truth value refers here either the truth or the falsity of a given statement here. So likewise here you can see for true statement the truth value will be true, for the false statement the truth value will be false, right? So let's move on to our next term, which is a logical variables here. So in our mathematical reasoning we will be representing the statements using the lowercase letters here. So like P, Q, R, S. So these are all the lowercase letters which we will be using to represent the statements. So these lowercase letters here are called to be the logical variables. That's it. So for easy let's see an example here for this logical variables, very easiest one. So here let's take the statement here. The earth revolves around the sun. So this is the statement here, yes or no? So this statement here we can represent this with our lowercase letters. Let me take a P. So now my statement will be P and the earth revolves around the sun. So the earth revolves around the sun. So this is my representation of the statement here. So now as we have written a statement here, so let's figure out the truth value of the statement here. So in order to find the truth value, we should predict whether the given statement is a true statement or a false statement. So let's read out the statement here. So the earth revolves around the sun. So the statement which is given here is a true statement, obviously, which states that the earth revolves around the sun. So now my P statement is a true statement. So if we have a true statement, what will be the truth value here, guys? So truth value will be obviously capital T for the given statement P here. So likewise for any given statement we could able to find the truth value and we can represent that by our logical variables here, right? So let's move ahead. So the next part here is quantifiers. The next term here which we are going to learn is quantifiers. So basically quantifiers here are nothing but the symbols. So the symbols like our stand for all. So this symbol for all and this symbol is for there exist. Right. So these are the symbols which are used to denote a group of words or a phrase. So instead of writing for all the variables, for all the x values and all, we can write this symbol, which means these symbols are actually using to denote a group of words or a phrase. Right. So these type of symbols which we can use instead of writing a group of words or a phrase. So those are called as quantifiers. So here these are known as quantifiers here, and especially the symbols like for all and there exist are known as exponential quantifiers. Right. So if suppose we are having an open sentence containing these quantifiers, so that will always become a statement. Right. So open sentence in the sense it will be having two or more than two variables. Right. If that open statement, if it contains the quantifiers here, so then that will always become a statement. Right. So you just remember that what are the symbols which we'll be seeing here for the quantifiers. So the next one is quantified statement. So it's as simple as that. So whenever if we having these quantifiers in any statement, then that statement is called to be quantified statement. So can anyone give me okay, let me give you one example first and then you can give me an example by your own. So let's see an example here. X square greater than equal to 0 for all x belongs to R. So here this is my statement which I can represent with P. X square greater than equal to 0 for all x belongs to R. Right, so I have represented here my statement P which is x square greater than equal to 0 for all x belongs to R. So here you can see this is a quantified statement because I have used my quantifier in this statement P. So this is an example of quantified statement. So now as we have the statement here, can you guys find out the truth value here and let me know the truth value for this example. So in order to find the truth value, we should aware of the statement whether it's a true statement or a false statement. So with that information, we can directly find the truth value. So let's see that. So here the given statement is x square greater than equal to 0 for all x belongs to R. Right. So here x square is greater than equal to 0. That means x can take here any R value. So it can take any value from our real numbers, but still that will be greater than equal to 0 because here we are having x square. Right. So here you can see the example of a statement and let's try to figure out the truth value here. So here you can see for x here we are having x square and the condition is greater than equal to 0. So if you can take any value from the real numbers but still it will be x square greater than equal to 0, which means the given statement here is nothing but a true statement. So now here our P is a true statement, which means what will be the truth value of the statement? It will be 2 only. So here for this given example, its truth value is nothing but equal to T here. Right, so this is how we can get a easiest examples for our quantified statement, because a statement which contains these quantifiers like for all and there exist, so these are known as our quantified statements, and for that statements also we can find the truth value by just predicting, by just finding the whether the given statement is true or false. Right, so let's move to our next one. So here the next one is using Venn diagrams for our truth values. So just now we have seen how to find this truth value by identifying the statement whether it's a true or false statement and then finding the truth value. But here there is another way by using this Venn diagrams. So here we can use this Venn diagrams in order to find the truth values. So how can we do that? So let's understand that here. So basically Venn diagrams can be used to represent the truth value of statements. So even Venn diagrams can also be used here to represent the truth value of the statement. Right. So here let us consider the statement first. So the first statement is all teachers are scholars. So this is one statement which we are considering here, which is all teachers are scholars. So now here we have to find whether this statement is true or false, and we have to find the truth value. Right. So let us also assume that this statement is true. The truth value of the above statement can be represented by the Venn diagram. So let's get back to the Venn diagram and understand. So what is the statement? So all teachers are scholars. So that is our statement. So this is our statement, guys. Let me take P. Right. So now here in this Venn diagram, so this is the Venn diagram given, and now this is the statement P which is given. Now we have to find whether the statement given is true or false in order to find the truth value. Right. So let's see. So here from the given Venn diagram, what is the information we can predict? So the first one is U equal to the set of all human beings. So this is the universal set which includes a set of all human beings. And the next one is set S, which is the set of all scholars. So here you can see, so this exterior one is the set of scholars, and then T here is the set of teachers. That means this interior part will be the set of all teachers. Right. So from here, what can we say? We can say that T is the subset of universal set, that is our U, and S is also subset of a universal set, and we can also see T is also subset of S. Right. So that means this shaded portion is my teachers who are scholars also, which means all the teachers are also present in my scholars category. That means here my given statement P, which is all teachers are scholars, is a true statement here. So the statement all teachers are scholars is a true statement here, which means what will be the truth value here? So the truth value of this given statement is capital T. So that's how from the Venn diagram. So from using the Venn diagrams also we can find the truth value of the statement. Right. So let's move ahead. So now as we have seen the main terms which are related to our statement and all. So the next one we are going to discuss here is about the different types of statements. Right. So in our mathematical reasoning point of view, we'll be discussing, there are two types of statements here. The first one is simple statement. So here you can see the first one is simple statement and the second one is compound statement. So in our mathematical reasoning, so these are the two types of statements here which we are going to discuss. So the first type of statement here is simple statement and the next one is compound statement. So these are the two types of statements that we are going to discuss here. So let's start here with the simple statement. So if the truth value of a statement is not dependent on another statement. So the definition of simple statements here is nothing but if the truth value of a statement is not dependent on another statement. That means without help of any other statement, with the given statement itself by itself, we could able to state that the given statement is a true statement or false statement. So in that way we can able to find the truth value of a statement. Right. So those typical types of statements are said to be simple statements here. Right. So if the other case will be the opposite one. So now you can see a simple statement does not have any logical connectors. So when we talk about a simple statement, that statement does not have any logical connectors like and, or not, if then, and. So these are few connectors. If we have any of these connectors in a statement, so there itself we can directly state that this typical statement is not a simple statement, right? So if we talk about a simple example, the sun rises in the east. So if this is my statement here, so now we have to identify whether this given statement is a simple statement or not. So how can you evaluate that whether the given statement is a simple statement or not? So quickly, can anyone? Quickly, guys. So here, this is the only one statement which is given here. So the sun rises in the east. So this is a true statement. So in order to find this statement is true or false, do we use any other statement here? No, right? Which means this given statement here is not dependent on any other statement. So with this statement alone, we could able to find the truth value of the statement, which is T here. Right? So those types of statements here are called to be simple statement, and this is the one of the example of our simple statement here. Right? So the next type of statement which we are going to discuss is a compound statement, and it's obviously opposite to our simple statement which we have discussed. Right? So when we have a combination now, right, in our simple statement it will be a one single statement without depending on other, which we can able to find the truth value. So when it comes to a compound statement, it is actually a combination of two or more simple statements. So here a compound statement is nothing but it's a combination of two or more simple statements. Right. So these compound statements actually use the logical connectors to combine these two simple statements. Without logical connectors, they won't be combining. So whenever you could see any logical connectors, so then you can say it's directly not a simple statement, then it will be a compound statement here. Right. So these are the two types of statements which we have here. The first one is simple statement and the next one here is a compound statement. Right. So let's move ahead to our next topic, which is truth table. So here truth table and constructing a truth table is very, very important here. Right, because when we have any statement with the help of truth table and our logical connectors, we could able to find the answer easily. Right, so let's see first what is this truth table. So a truth table is defined as a table that gives the truth values of a compound statement. So basically here we are talking about a compound statement, not a simple statement, guys. Right. So basically this truth table is nothing but it's a table which actually gives the truth values. What do you mean by truth values? So it can be true and false. So these two are the truth values. So the table which gives the truth values of a compound statement. So for every possible combination. So here we won't be talking about one single combination. So it will be considering for every single possible combination of truth values. So for easiest way, let me give you an example for this truth table. So let me consider a statement P and one more statement Q. So these are my two statements, and now I am going to construct a truth table here. So what are all possible combinations of truth values for these two statements? So the first possible one will be both these two statements can be true. That means true, true. My second possible combination, my first statement P can be true, whereas my Q statement can be false. Right. And my next possibility, the third possibility here is my P statement can be true, whereas my Q statement can be, my P statement can be false and my Q statement can be true. So the fourth possible combination will be even P statement be false and Q statement will be false. So these are the four total possible combinations of this given two statements P and Q together. Right, so likewise a truth table is actually the table which gives the truth values of a compound statement for every possible combination. So this is how we can get every possible combination of the truth values of the given compound statements. Right. So now let's move on to our next concept, which is logical connectives or logical operators, which is a very important concept, guys. So let's read the definition and go step by step for this logical connectives or logical operators. Right. So logical connectives or operators are the symbols that are used to connect simple statement to create compound statement. Right, so just now we have discussed our types of statements where we have seen simple and compound statements. And compound statement is nothing but a statement. It's basically a combination of two or more than two simple statements. So how can these two or three simple statements can be combined? So those will be combined using these logical connectives or logical operators. So let's see what are these logical operators or connectives and what are their corresponding symbols here. Right. So here we are having a 5 logical connectives, their corresponding symbols here and the corresponding nature of the compound statement which is formed by using these connectives. Right. So let's go one by one here. So the first connective which we have is AND. So AND here. And the symbol which is used for this connective AND is inverted V. And the nature of the compound statement is conjunction. Right. And the next connective we are having is OR. And the corresponding symbol is V. Right. And the nature of the compound statement we are having is disjunction. Right. And the third connective which we are having here is if then. And the corresponding symbol is implies. So you can use a double line or a single one, implies. So which is the nature of the compound here is compound statement here is implication or conditional. So for if then connective the corresponding nature is implication or conditional. And the fourth connective which we are having is if and if only. That means doubles implication. So the symbol here is double implication because if and if only in the sense both sides must be, it should satisfy. So if and if only. So either this or this can be the symbol which is used for this corresponding connective if and if only. Right. And the corresponding nature of the compound statement here is equivalence or biconditional. So in sometimes they will be giving you conditional, in sometimes they will be giving you implication, but don't be confused with this. Both are actually the same. Implication or conditional for if then and equivalence or biconditional for if and only if. Right. And the last connective which we are having here is not, and the symbol which is used for not is this one, either this or either this, and the nature of the compound statement here is negation. Right. So these are our 5 connectives, logical connectives which we'll be using in order to make a compound statement here, and their corresponding symbols also we have seen here. So let's understand this nature of the compound statements in detail in our next slides. So the first one is conjunction. So as we have seen, the conjunction is the compound statement which is actually formed by combining any two simple statements using the connective AND. So when we use this connective and form the compound statements, so those are called to be the conjunctions here. So AND, what is the symbol? Inverted V. And those compound statements which are formed using this connective are called to be conjunctions. Right. So let's move on to the next one. So the next one we are having is disjunction or alternation. So here for disjunction, what is the connective which we'll be using? That we have seen in our tabular form. So the connective here is OR and the symbol is V. Right. So whenever any compound statement which is formed by this connective OR to combine two or more simple statements, so that particular statements, compound statements are called to be either disjunctions or alternation. So again, for this disjunction or alternation, we are having two names here for this or connective, which is disjunction or alternation. So this is my connective or here and their corresponding symbol, and the nature of the compound statement here is disjunction or alternation. So let's move on to the next one, which is negation. So basically negation is nothing but a direct denial of the statement. So what is the definition of negation here? So negation here is the direct denial of the statement, which means this is not formed by using any combination here. It's simply the denial, right? So here you can see if P is the statement, then the negation of the statement will be directly this one. So this is the negation of a statement P is denoted by this symbol, right? So unlike our conjunction and disjunction, so there we actually combine two or more simple statements by the connectives, and then we'll be getting our compound statement. Whereas for this negation, we are not going to use any simple statements in order to connect and all, but it's actually a direct denial of a statement, which is called the negation, right? So let's take here any statement P can be negated by writing it is not the case that, or it is false that, right? So you can even negate that, which means opposite. Negation, which means it is direct opposite. So by using this, it is not the case, you can use that also, or it is false that before P. So that also means that it's the denial of the statement, right? So if possible, we can even insert this word not in that given statement, which indicates that it's a direct denial of the statement which converts it to be the negation, right? So this is our third one, which is the negation. So let's move ahead. So the next one we are having here is implication or conditional statement. So we have discussed just now in our tabular form implication or conditional statement. So here again the same definition, which means combining any two simple statements with the connective if then. So here what is the connective? If then is the connective. So when two or more simple statements which they are connected using this connective if then, so that particular compound statements, conditional statements, those are called to be conditional statements here, right, or implication statements, right? So what is the connective here? So the connective for these statements is if then, and the corresponding symbol will be either this or this, right? So this is our next connective. So next logical connective. So let's move on to our last one. So before moving into our last connective, let's have a look over the truth table for this implication or our conditional statement. So what is the symbol here? So symbol will be the implication. So let's consider a statement P first and a statement Q. So what will be the truth table for these two statements P and Q? So we have to write all the possible combinations here. So all possible combinations here will be true, 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 false, false, true, false, false, right? So now the connective, after using the connective, the compound statement which is formed here is P implication Q. That means if then. So here true and true. So both are true. P implies Q, so it will be true. But here true and false. So true implies false. It's false, right? So it will be false. So false implies true. So from false it is implication true. So it will be true, right? And the next one here false and false. So both are false implication. So it will be true, right? So when you have false to true, it will be true. So whenever you are having true to the right hand side, it will be true. So likewise, this will be the truth table for our P implication 2, which is for the implication or the conditional statements here, right? So let's move on to our last and final logical connective here, which is if and if only. right, which will be the biconditional statement here. Right, so basically here biconditional statements are nothing but the statements which are formed by combining any two conditional statements. So just now we have seen the conditional statements which are actually formed by this connective if then, but here biconditional in the sense it will be formed, these statements are formed by two conditional statements. Right, so one converts to the other and are called the conditional statements or implications. So we know what do you mean by what are conditional statements and also just now we have seen. So if two conditional statements are combined, so that will be called to be a biconditional statement here. Right, and the connective here is if and if only, and the symbol will be double implication. So let's have a look over the truth table for this biconditional statement also. So let's take two statements here, P and Q, and write all possible combinations of truth values. So true, 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 false, false, true, false, false. So now we should have two conditional statements before getting the biconditional one. So the two first conditional one here is P implies Q and the second one is Q implies P. So let's write the truth values here for P implication Q. So true, true, so it will be true. True, false, it will be false. False implies true, it will be true. False implies false, it will be true. So reverse, true implies true, true. False implies true, it will be true. True implies false, it will be false. False implies false, it will be true. So this is our conditional truth values. So for P implies Q and the next one Q implication P, for both of this we have written the truth values. So now the thing is, for biconditional it will be if and if only. That means double implication. So this will be formed by combining these two conditional statements. That means this double implication will be P implies Q and Q implies P. So by using the connector and here we will be forming our biconditional statement. So let's see the biconditional statement here. So and true, so both are true, so it will be true because the connective we are using is and. So false and true, it will be false only because one of them is false. True and false, again false because one of them is false and we are using the connective and. So true and true, it will be true. So this will be the typical truth table for a biconditional statement. Right. So these are our 5 logical connectives and their corresponding application which we have seen here. So let's move ahead with our next one, which is negation of compound statements. So we have already seen what do you mean by negation and all. So a compound sentence can be conjunction, disjunction, implication or an equivalence, which means the conjunction is for and, disjunction is for or, implication is for our if then and equivalence is for if and if only. So a compound sentence can be any of these. So which we have seen. Therefore, the negation of compound sentence can be as follows, which means for this compound statements we can have negation because negation is nothing but simply the denial of the statement. So that is simply the denial of the statement, which means negation of compound statements implies that it is simply the denial of the compound statement here. Right, so let's have a look over this negation of compound statements one by one. So the first one is for our what is the first one here? Negation of conjunction, which is for our and. Right, so that means here P and Q are two statements. That means P and Q. So this is our regular statement, but here this is our regular compound statement, but here we have to find the negation of it. That means negation of P and Q. So this is nothing but simply similar to equal to the negation of P or negation of Q. Right. So whenever if you want to find the negation of this compound conjunction, we can directly use this, which is negation of P or negation of Q. So similarly, we are having for the negation of disjunction here. So if P and Q are two statements, that means here P or Q, we have to find the negation of P or Q, which implies negation of P and negation of Q. That means this will be the negation of our disjunction here, which means for end it will be negative the negation, the denial of end will be or, so that's why negation of here or will be end, right? So let's move on to our next negation of implication. That is our conditional statement. So P implies Q, whereas we have to find the negation of this P implication Q. So it is one-sided, so it will be end here. So negation of P and negation of Q. So whereas for this negation of biconditional, it will be a bit different from the previous ones. So negation of biconditional statement are equivalence here. So if P and Q are two statements, then our negation of this P double implication Q here implies the corresponding expansion, which implies P and negation of Q or Q and negation of P. So this will be our negation of biconditional statement or the equivalence here. So now let's see a question here. As we have discussed all our logical connectives or the logical operators, and we have even seen our negation of compound statements. So let's have a look over this question and then we'll move on to our next concepts. I'll just give you 1 minute so that you guys can work it on quickly. So it's a question related to the negation of the statement, guys. So read the question carefully and read the corresponding options and identify which of the option is a correct one. So let's have a look over the question. So which of the following is not a negation of the statement? So here they are asking which of the following one is not a negation of the statement. So the given statement P here is root 5 is rational. So root 5 is rational is the given statement P. So let's have a look over the first one. It is not the case that root 5 is rational. So we have already seen it is not the case in the sense it will be a direct negation, which means it is the negation. So it's a correct one. So the next one, root 5 is not rational. Even when we use the word not, that implies that it is the negation of the statement, which means this root 5 is not rational is also the negation of the given statement P. And the next option, root 5 is an irrational number. So opposite of our rational number is nothing but an irrational number, which means even the C option is also negation of the given statement P, which means the correct answer here is none of this, because amongst all the 4 options, all the 3 are directly the negation of the statements. So option 4, none of this is the correct answer here, right? So we have seen our logical connectors and their corresponding question, and we have seen the negation of the compound statements. So we have covered our almost all the theory part topics and all. So we are left with few topics. So let's have a look over that. So the next one we are having here is a statement pattern. So basically statement pattern is nothing but whenever we have these logical connectors which are used here, so that particular statement is called to be a statement pattern or well-formed formula. So here that is the basic definition, any statement where logical connectives are used. So let's have examples. Let's have a look over this example. So you can see in any statement, if you could see the logical operators, that will be directly called to be a statement pattern. So P or Q, it's a logical connector here, so it's an example of statement pattern. So here it's the implication, so it is also an example. So here you can see different logical connectors are used here, so this is also an example. Same with our option D. So these are also here different our logical connectives are applied here. So this is also an example of statement pattern. So coming to our next topic, which is a tautology. Right. So tautology, we can easily understand this tautology if we have a truth table, because it is all about dealing with the truth values. Right. A statement pattern that is always true irrespective of the truth values of all the combinations of its constitute statements is called a tautology. So tautology, in the sense, for that particular statement, it will be having all truths. All the truth values will be true irrespective of the other statement patterns. Right. So irrespective of the other statements, that particular statement pattern will be having all the truth values to be truths. So that particular statement pattern is called a tautology. Right. So let's have an example. So we are having P, Q statement, and the statement pattern, let it be P implies Q. So I am having true to something. So here I am having my possible combinations. If this statement pattern is having all the truth values to be true, irrespective of these truth values. Right. So then this particular statement pattern is called to be tautology. In other words, you can see in a tautology, the last column of its truth table is always T. So here you can see this is our last column here, and this truth table values here is always T. Right. So this is our basic example you can see for the tautology. So the next one, which is quite opposite to our tautology, that is the contradiction here. So like how we are having all the values of truth value to be true, here we will be having all the truth values to be false. So here P, Q, P implies Q for suppose. So here whatever combinations we can have, if this truth values will be false, false, false and false. That means this particular statement pattern is nothing but called to be the contradiction. Right. So that's how when you have all the truth values to be true, then that is called to be tautology. If all the truth values are false, and that is called to be contradiction. So now if you observe the tautology and contradiction together, so the negation of the tautology is nothing but contradiction, and vice versa, the negation of the contradiction will be equal to tautology. So these both are negation of each other's, here the tautology as well as the contradiction. Right. So we have finished our most of the topics in our today's session, guys. So we are left with few more concepts, and we'll jump into our next concepts of mathematical reasoning in our next session of mathematical reasoning. So if you guys have any queries with respect to our today's session, you can let me know in our next session. So that's all for today, guys. So we'll just discuss the rest of the topics in our next session of mathematical reasoning. So thank you all.